Good morning. My name is Valerie Schwartz, and I am the moderator of today's panel, Student Learning from Curriculum Units Developed in National Seminars, aka the Student Panel. In a few minutes, you will hear from 5 students in grades 5 through 12 from the following locations: Navajo Nation in Arizona, Tulsa, Chicago, Richmond, Virginia, not California, and Hearne, Texas. As you listen to these students describe their learning experiences, imagine hundreds, thousands of students in your districts having similar learning opportunities. This is the testament of the value of this program, the work that we do, and the time that we commit. And it truly is all about the students.
Yate, I am very proud and honored to present my student to you. From Monmouth Valley High School, we have Nishani Laughter, and she is a member of the Navajo Nation tribe as well as the FFA member at the high school, the Student Council Vice President, and the Miss Navajo or Miss NVHS pageant committee, and she's going to be running also in the pageant shortly when we get back. Here we have Nishani Laughter.
Yat bina she'ena shani laughter dashachina ye dana dashling gold tanchikan a bashachin toda genesiche do look at dana dashanella. Good morning, everyone. My name is Shani Laughter. I am Red Running Into the Water Clan and Giant People Clan. I am born for Honeycomb Rock People Clan. My maternal grandfather is Bitterwater Clan, and my paternal grandfather is Reed People Clan. Through the Eyes of a Navajo Nature Writing is the title of our curriculum that Ms. Singer and I, our Navajo language teacher at Monmouth Valley High School, spent the last 6 weeks teaching us about nature writing from a Navajo perspective, in this case, from Navajo students and non-Navajo students studying the Navajo culture. This curriculum focused on 3 areas. Number 1, sit spot, nature journal writing and personal reflections. 2, dualities, found in Navajo culture and teachings of male and female aspects. 3, poetry, from Navajo poets like Lucy Tahanzo, and creating a teaching lessons using the Navajo cardinal directions with poetry reading. The sin spot. In this lesson, we went outside to the baseball field and just soaked in all the nature that we can within the class period. We were walking around, taking pictures, following the ants, gazing at the clouds float by, and listening to the thunder rumble in the distance. As the class period came to an end, we went back inside and reflected on what we experienced with our 5 senses. Some of the things we saw were the stink bugs, kinashglishi, the ants, wulachi, dirt, klej, rain, nahaltin, clouds, gos. All these connect with our next lesson, which is dualities. First of all, what are dualities? Dualities are 2 of the opposite things. In this curriculum, we chose male and female. Why male and female? You might ask. Well, because in the beginning, our holy gods, the Diyin Dina'a, entered the 4th world, which is the world we live in right now. Their first thought was creating 1 male and 1 female, which we call them the first man and first woman. Everything we started to branch off from then. Now the things we see in nature has 2 sides, a male and female. For example, corn. There are 2 types, white corn and yellow corn, which we call them white corn boy and yellow corn girl. White corn boy represents the male spirit of our language as well as the materialistic way of our life, body, and soul. Yellow corn girl represents the female spirit of our language as well as our mind and spirit. There are many types of boy and girl in our teachings. Another example is rain, nahaltin. The male rain, astampa'ad, which is we know as the harsh rains with loud thunders. The female rain, nastampa'ad, is the complete opposite. She is the light sprinkles. They both end in a beautiful rainbow. Right here is, Miss Jolene. So right here is the Navajo cradle board, and it's the Awet Sal. It's a traditional Navajo cradle board, and so as you see in the back, This is the left, which is male, and the right, female. And open it. Like I explained, the lightning represents male. It's also used for protection of the baby. And right here, the head, as I said, and last, the rainbow protects the mind of the child as she is still an infant, or he. Right here, the feet is placed on Mother Earth where we walk, and on top, right here, the covering is Father Sky. And also right here in the back, you can see the ears, the jaw. So this is one of the good examples of our traditions. Okay, and poetry. Research, we research various poet writers and use them to create our own poems. Not only that, we connected them with the 4 cardinal directions. In Diné teachings, in Navajo, the number 4 is the big number. We have 4 clans, 4 sacred mountains that surround our Navajo reservation, 4 sacred stones, 4 worlds, etc. When you look at a compass, what do you see? A north, south, east, and west. In Diné culture, we value those directions. In the north, Nahokos, located in Mancos, Colorado. These are some of the facts. So represents Holy Man, Monster Slayer, Black, Hesper's Peak, and Black Jet, and represents night. The east, Ha'a'a, Alamos, Colorado. It represents Holy Woman, Changing Woman, Talking God. It's called Blanca Peak on White Shell. And the south, Shata'a, Grants, New Mexico. It represents Holy Boy, Born for Water, Mount Taylor, and Turquoise. And on the west is E'e'a, located in Flagstaff, Arizona, which is a couple hours of where we live, and represents Holy Girl, Changing Woman, Calling God, and its name is San Francisco Peaks, and the shell is abalone. Something we say on the res is To'e'ina, which means water is life. We have to respect everything that Mother Earth provides us. We need water, and we also need water to survive. This curriculum had a huge impact, not only on myself, but as well as my classmates. Just seeing everyone research about our culture, teachings, and language from the responses I read. They either grew stronger connections with nature, they became observant, it inspired them, or it encouraged them. I see it, and I hope to see it every day. Not only that, this curriculum was not just within the classroom. These students took it home, they asked grandma and grandpa questions about the topics they chose. One of my favorite student responses was, "It has given me a broader perspective of me." Navajo means being close to the earth, and I feel like I achieved this while doing nature writing. For me, when I was working on my research, which was rug weaving, I found out information that I never knew. One day, a couple of weeks ago, I was driving with my mom, and I asked her, "Are there any rug weavers in the family?" She said, "No." Nella Senna, which is my great-grandma, she passed away, and she was one of the last ones. Her last few years were spent nursing home, and I was pretty young, so I didn't visit her that much. But knowing that there aren't any rug weavers, it encouraged me to learn rug weaving and the sash belt weaving. Yeah. Currently, I am taking 2 art and crafts classes with Miss Stanley, who is an Navajo language and Navajo crafts teacher at our school. This year, I want to hone my skills and actually weave this sash belt, which is right here. I'm actually wearing it. Just come out real quick. On the sash belt, there are 3 of the traditional colors: red, white, and green. Red represents the blood that flows in our body. Green is Mother Earth, and white is the bones in our bodies. The main goal of this curriculum is to revitalize our language, culture, and teachings. We have to cherish every part of our Mother Earth. We have to keep her safe and clean. To close off, this curriculum was and is still my favorite to ever learn. As well as having this opportunity to share with you all, I hope to spread this curriculum to everyone. The new question to ask every day is this male or is this female? Yeah, thank you.
Good morning. My name is Akila Leach, and I am a 5th grade teacher in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And this past summer, I participated in the Environmental Justice Seminar led by Jordan Peschia. And throughout that seminar, we had many discussions about how do you present such heavy topics about the environment to students? So because I teach elementary school, I decided on the topic of plastic pollution because all kids can relate to using plastic in their daily lives. We also already have a recycling club in our school, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to give background information on why we recycle in the first place. So throughout the unit, we answered 2 essential questions. How does plastic pollution impact the environment? And what are ways humans can decrease plastic pollution on Earth? So I'm very excited for my student to be here to share his experience learning this unit. It is my pleasure to introduce my 5th grade student, Oliver Shamel.
Hi, my name is Oliver Shamel. I am in the 5th grade at Lanier Elementary in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I am here today to talk about plastic and how we are using too much. In my project, what we did first was observed a picture and tried to guess what it was and how long it's been undersea. We found out that it was a plastic sunscreen bottle. It was under the sea from 1970 to 2018. They found it washed up ashore in Italy. Then we observed another picture of a plastic bag at the Mariana Trench. You might be wondering what the Mariana Trench is. Well, it is the deepest part of the ocean. Can you believe that they found a plastic bag at the bottom of the ocean? And then we thought about ways humans can keep plastic from reaching the Mariana Trench. Well, I said that we can start recycling more and not throwing away stuff that can still be useful to others. Next, we learned about how we are hurting our planet. I think we are using way too much plastic, and plastic hurts if we don't recycle it. Here's what happens if we don't recycle. Marine animals die, animals eat plastic or get really entangled in it, and you know what's even worse? Scientists think the amounts of plastic in the ocean right now may triple by 2050. That's way too much plastic. But to save that, all we have to do is put plastic in the recycling bin. It's not that hard. Next, we watched a video about 3 plastic bottles. Bottle 1 ended up in the landfill. A landfill is a place where they throw away trash into one huge pile. Landfills are bad because trash goes into there and rainwater comes in and mixes with the toxic things in the trash and creates leachate. Bottle 2 ended up in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Trash gets into the ocean when we throw away things. It gets into a stream and then a river, and then the ocean current takes it to the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It is a place where a bunch of trash ends up and swirls around and stays there. There are 5 in the world. Most of the trash there are microplastics, which are tiny pieces of plastic that you cannot see. This is bad because scientists think that when fish eat the trash, it's bad for us, because the lanternfish eats the trash, and then the squid eats the lanternfish, and then the squid eats the tuna eats the squid, and then we eat the tuna. The microplastics swirl around forever. Bottle 3 ended up in the recycling plant. A recycling plant is where they take plastic to, and it's a factory. They have machines that puts the plastic into a block. They are broken into little pieces, and they are melted and heated into pellets. Then they form the pellets into a new plastic source. Next, we were talking about how plastic is useful. Well, we make a lot of stuff out of plastic. Let's see, chairs, spoons, forks, containers, and bags. But let me get this straight. We create all of this and we just throw it away? It makes no sense, because if we recycle it, they will take it to the recycling plant and make it into something new. But you know what? We aren't doing that, and then that's why there's 8.8 million tons of plastic that ends up in the ocean every year. Did you know that over 700 marine animal species have died because of the plastic that we put in the ocean? Then Ms. Leach told us to start on our PSA. Now you might be wondering what a PSA is. Well, a PSA stands for Public Service Announcement. So first we grouped up into 4 and figured out what our group names were going to be. Our name was Team Sea Life. Then we figured out who did what job. I was the researcher, my friend Kayla was the writer, my friend Lucy was the graphic artist, and my friend Dayton was the video director. And then we researched about plastic pollution and solutions. So we read out loud to each other and took notes. Then we wrote a slogan for our posters. My group's slogan was "Be part of the solution, not the pollution." This lesson was different from regular schoolwork because we did science, social studies, and writing all in one project. My classmates also enjoyed the project. We liked working with our friends and informing people about plastic pollution. In conclusion, instead of just throwing away plastic, recycle it. Be part of the solution, not the pollution.
My name is Brandon Barr. I am a sixth grade reading, writing, and social studies teacher at Mark Twain Elementary in Chicago Public Schools. So the seminar that I actually took 2 years ago, the formal title was Children and Education in World Cinema. It was led by Dudley Andrew. And in that seminar, we explored stories of education and children in different films and regions of the world. In the seminar, fellows considered the idea of what childhood is like from the point of view of a child, usually watching 2 films at once from a specific region to discuss similarities and differences. Reacting to the experiences of children depicted in the films, teachers grappled with what it's like to view films with the freshness of the eyes of children, what it means to be a global consumer of film in the broader film world, and how to use film to explore the interior landscape of different countries while also revisiting educational theory related to childhood. The discussion of films in seminar was productive and modeled the possibilities for rich discourse around film within our own classrooms. In the unit that I wrote through my participation in the seminar, I explore immigration and migration of children from Central America and Mexico to the United States. Children in both Which Way Home, a documentary, and Under the Same Moon, a fictional film, as well as in narrative nonfiction, Enrique's Journey, demonstrate independence and resourcefulness, like other children in films that we viewed in the seminar. In fact, one common thread in our seminar viewing that we can probably all relate to in this room is the unpredictable nature of children. The seminar leader was able to propel conversations forward because he was able to frame the films that we watched with contextual knowledge, such as sharing political and regional circumstances and film considerations for each pair of films. So in similar fashion, what I hope to accomplish in this unit, and maybe Layla will disagree, is to frame the conversations around this documentary that we watched, this fictional version of the same story, by sharing my own research on children migration in film, inviting students to share their informed opinions and insights about a very topical and important issue which face many of our districts and communities. At this time, I invite my former student, now she's a 7th grader, Layla Santiago, to share her experiences as a student in my class while I taught the unit. Layla?
Good morning. My name is Layla Santiago, and I am here to speak about the unit I have learned. This unit involved the stories and a documentary called Which Way Home, Under the Same Moon, and Enrique's Journey. I have learned about immigration and migration journeys through different stories and perspectives. While I was watching and reading these life-changing stories, I was able to connect in many heartbreaking and heartwarming ways. I have learned so much about the many struggles Latinos go through just to live their dream. I was also able to connect to these stories by feeling their determination and sacrifices to meet their goals. This was a different kind of unit for me because I have never really focused on a topic that is happening now and that is still a struggle today. In our city, we see migrants living in tents trying to survive in Chicago's changing weather. It is good to learn about how and why these individuals have ended up in our city. In the documentary, Which Way Home, those children were in a real-life, difficult situation. A lot have traveled here to reunite with parents and family members, or at least hoping to find a job for a better lifestyle. They were robbed, killed, and deported back home, when all they were trying to do was to have a better life. So this unit was very different to work on, thinking how these poor kids had horrible experience in search for their American dream. This unit was very effective by showing me the journey through the characters' eyes and getting a feel of what kids around my age have to go through. Unlike many novels we read, these situations don't always result in a happy ending. So readers and watchers get a glimpse of the real world and the consequences of people in power who make decisions. The film documentary, Which Way Home, it connects to migrants today by being a true life event. It is nonfiction. The filmmaker follows child migrants on their journey to the U.S. These children left behind their families. For some, it was easier to leave than others. They usually live in extremely toxic or poor household that motivates them to leave and start a new life in America. The documentary showed some of the boys sneaking out of their homes to hop on a freight train, praying to make it to the United States. The freight train can take them very far, but it can also be extremely dangerous. For example, many kids would fall off the train while sleeping because they were unable to or simply forgot to fasten themselves to something. This connects to migrants today since not all of them are able to reach their desired destination. Many migrants end up hurt or dead from these rough travels. Just like how in the documentary Which Way Home, the two boys fell off the freight train and sadly passed away. This shows just how standing up can be dangerous and fatal. In the text, Enrique's Journey, the fictional film Under the Same Moon, they share a lot of similarities. One of the main connections is how they are both traveling to see their mother after being separated for many years. Unfortunately, because of the stress, Enrique falls into an unhealthy habit of sniffing glue to distract himself from his mother's absence. Enrique also learns things from his many failed attempts. He learns the hard way not to ride the freight train by himself, not to go on buses, and not to trust the authorities. Basically, not to trust anyone. And for Carlitos from Under the Same Moon, Carlitos also learns that in order to get to America, there are things to look out for. Carlitos also encounters shady characters in his traveling and has also faced the authorities not being so soft on him. Carlitos and Enrique both face the harsh realities of being an illegal immigrant. At the end of the film, Under the Same Moon, it closes on zooming into Carlitos and his mother's face, showing how they are reunited again. This was a very touching moment in the film, but the class wondered about the ending since usually with migrants there isn't always a happy ending. In all three texts, the protagonists are clearly determined. They will never give up. These children met so many obstacles in their travels, not having any money, being robbed multiple times, having no food or shelter, and even being deported. But no matter how many downfalls they had, they never gave up and kept on trying until they met their desired destination. In the story Enrique's Journey, it takes him 8 tries to make it to the US. He was attacked, robbed by gangs, and even the police would take custody of his very few items. But he never lost sight of his goal because he was determined to make it to the United States. People in power who are making decisions need to understand what motivates people to come to the United States in order to have plans for when they arrive, because they will arrive. The way my teacher taught us this unit was by having students pay attention and think about the unit by finding and understanding hidden messages. He did this by having the class take notes on events that happened in the stories, not only on surprising and important events. While reading Enrique's Journey, the class took notes on quotes and images. This gave us a chance to reflect on what we were reading. We ended this unit learning about the film reviews and writing our own on Under the Same Moon. We thought about the filmmaker's choices in telling the fictional story from the point of view of a child. Through this writing, we were able to share our informed opinions on important issues that impact our city and nation. The impact that this unit has had on me is to think about how privileged and lucky I am to be able to have many opportunities like jobs, employment, and education to choose from. But in these stories and in real life, they don't have these opportunities. Another reason is that I sometimes feel like giving up when obstacles keep blocking my path. I often start to feel discouraged and just want to give up. However, after this unit, I have come to realize that if kids around the same age as me can cross the border after many failed attempts, I can reach my goals as well. Thank you for your time and attention. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today.
Good morning. My name is Joanna Minot, and I was part of the 2021 virtual seminar. So I am excited to finally be on the Yale campus. My seminar was led by Professor of Astronomy, Sarbani Basu, and even though it could have been heavily science-y, we had art and history and English teachers present, and we all contributed. And so I started to think, well, as I'm writing this curriculum unit, maybe I should try to allow my students to see themselves reflected in the content. And so here is one of my star students, Bryant Tyler, and he will describe his experience. And I've been teaching this unit ever since 2021.
Good morning. When I was younger, I lived with my grandmother. At night, we would see so many stars. Being in the country with little to no light pollution, you could see the Big and Little Dipper, observe constellations, and get lost in the vastness of the night sky. Stars are synonymous with my grandmother because she is a huge part of my life. For this reason, I connected so well to this unit because it reminded me of a very special time from my childhood. But that is my story, my reason for being interested in Miss Minot's curriculum unit, Beyond the Rainbow, investigating the characteristics of stars. I attend Huguenot High, a multicultural and urban school in Richmond, Virginia. Miss Minot's astronomy unit takes the opportunity to highlight the contributions of a variety of cultures connected to what we know about astronomy. The majority of students are African American and Hispanic Latino origin. She introduced us to the Mayan ruins of Chichen Itza, a World Heritage Site in Mexico. This archaeological ruin highlights the great Mayan civilization advanced understanding of astronomy. Mayan society tracked the movements of the sun to know when to harvest and sow. Several Mayan architectural structures were used as astronomical instruments, including the Pyramid of Kukulkan. The Pyramid of Kukulkan gives a 360-degree view of the skies as it rises above the canopy of the Yucatan Peninsula rainforest, as seen above in the TV in front of you. Each of the pyramid's 4 sides has 91 steps, with 1 additional step on top. Together, these steps total 365, the same number of days in a calendar year. El Caracol is the Mayans' dome-shaped observatory from which they tracked the motion of Venus, predicted eclipses, and created the Mayan calendar, the HAB. Other sites that also pay homage to the sun include Machu Picchu, the Stonehenge, and the pyramids of Egypt. What's so cool about Miss Minot's class is how she blends science, cultural, and history together. When you sit in her class, there will always be something you can take away and relate to. I like that there is room to incorporate culture and science. We explore various folklore entities such as Helios, Ra, Apollo, and Surya. From the astrological science to the hard science, she teaches us in a way that touches all types of learners. In this unit, students will see beyond the rainbow and enter the world of spectroscopy, which is the technique used by astronomers to determine the characteristics of stars, such as chemical composition, color and temperature, relative motion, and its size and luminosity. We all know this one. You're at a stoplight. You hear the sirens of a fire truck. Which way is it coming from? Both light and sound are considered waves. Considering the colors of visible light, you know them, Roy G. Biv. The R tending towards the red side, and the Biv tending towards the blue side. Well, this is very significant. The Doppler effect describes the phenomenon of waves bunching up as they approach you, giving off a higher pitch and a lower pitch as it goes away from you. If that's the case, you can proceed through the traffic light. In regards to light, the spectrum shifts towards the red if it is moving away, and it shifts towards the blue if it is coming towards you. This is called red shift and blue shift. This is the case for all objects. Did you know that people are hired to watch if objects such as asteroids are coming towards us? That means they are in blue shift. Did you know that every element has a unique emission spectrum? I bet you haven't seen a periodic table like this, as seen above in the TV. As unique as a snowflake, emission spectral lines are used to determine composition of stars and other cosmic material, first by hand and then by an online simulation. This method is called spectroscopy. Spectroscopy is a technique used by astronomers to determine the characteristics of stars. And to find the characteristics of stars, you have to match the lines to the original point of the star. We learn to categorize stars by reading and interpreting graphs. It also challenged the colors we associate with hot and cold. It turns out the hottest stars are not in fact red, but white and blue. I never knew they could be blue because in media they're shown as red or yellow. With today's advanced technology, we can observe our universe in an awe-inspiring way, since our eyes can only see invisible light. We perceive the sun as a yellowish-orange disk in the sky. However, with NASA's Solar Dynamic Observatory, or SDO for short, studies the sun at multiple wavelengths, including extreme ultraviolet light and X-rays. One of the instruments is the Atmospheric Imaging Assembly, or the AIA for short, which uses 4 telescopes to capture 8 images of the sun every 12 seconds in different wavelength bands. As shown in the video, you can see enhanced images of solar flares, coronal loops, and sunspots. In conclusion, I want to give a heartfelt thank you to the Yale National Initiative for the opportunity to represent my school at the 2023 annual conference, my family, and Ms. Mina for inspiring me to reach for the stars and always being there for me when I need a helping hand. In the future, I would like to be a news journalist. No matter what my future holds, I know that my granny will be my true star, and I also want to thank somebody who's in the audience today, my father, for all of his guidance and support. Thank you for being here today, and I truly appreciate you. I love you.
Howdy, everyone. I'm Deborah Jenkins, and I teach emergent bilingual students at Hearn High School in the Lone Star State of Texas, and I took Jill Campbell's seminar, Writing About Nature. As fellows, we participated in journaling, sit spots, poetry reading, and poetry writing, to name a few. Parts of the seminar that I've carried over into my classroom with my students includes sharing stories of my familial life experiences and things that have been embarrassing for me or filled me with pride. My students' writing has been so much more richer because of our ability to be vulnerable with one another and honest in our nature journaling. By the end of the curriculum unit, their nature-inspired paintings will also transform. It's easy to realize what we don't have, but sometimes we have exactly enough. In our school, many of the classrooms are windowless because our school was formerly a Walmart. It's worth Googling, Brandon did. But being outside in their sit spots gives them an opportunity to see, like literally see the world around them. Jill said something that truly resonated with me, and that was, with the amount of access students have to technology, they will not remember their best day on TikTok or YouTube. 2 of my hopes is that, 1, they remember me taking them outside to sit in their sit spots, writing in their nature journals, painting and going on this nature journey with me. And 2, they find pride or have pride restored to them in their culture, in their backgrounds, and in themselves. It is my esteemed pleasure to introduce to you Yuvia Sandoval Lopez.
Hi, my name is Yuvia Sandoval, and I'm a freshman at Hearn High School, located in Hearn, Texas. Ms. Jenkins has been teaching us about nature and to not be afraid to take up spaces that we normally wouldn't. We've been outside to sit in our sit spots and write in our nature journals afterwards. My favorite part of the sit spot is getting to relax in peace and let my thoughts disappear. This is a page taken from my nature journal. My thought while I was outside was, what was I missing out on? Or when was the last time I just stood or sat outside and looked at the things in front of me and let my thoughts clear up? We are so lucky to see the world like this, because not everyone could see the world like this like we do. This world was created for a reason. Some people say that life isn't fair, but to be honest, if life isn't fair for everybody, doesn't that mean life is actually fair? I've also noticed that there is more to be discovered than just being isolated in a house and doing nothing good. My favorite part of journaling is when I put little leaves in my journal to make the journals look pretty. I think it's cool that Ms. Jenkins got to come here and learn and taught us some of the things that she learned. Things like how nature can improve mental health. I think that's important because just coming to New Haven has been a really life-changing experience, and I've seen things here I haven't seen in Texas, and it's really different, but in a good way. I don't know where I would be if I didn't get the opportunity to come and tell y'all about what I've learned. When y'all travel one day, you're gonna have this heart-pumping feeling about pretty views and seeing that it's better seeing beautiful things in person rather on an electronic device. I used to be super embarrassed about stuff, but after Ms. Jenkins telling me about her family, I know my family isn't perfect, but it's mine, and it makes me me. These are our photos from our lessons in Ms. Jenkins' classroom. And this is my art teacher, Mr. Keener. He's telling us something about art, saying that it's a very important thing to each of us, letting our heart and soul get into this one portrait. This is us sitting in our sit spots. This is my first nature photo. I mean, not photo, portrait. And it's not my best, but now that I came here and experienced this with everyone, next time when Ms. Jenkins teaches us more about nature, I'm sure to do really well. This is a quote from Paul Turner. If we want to see nature in its splendor, we had better go soon, as the beauty, unfortunately, will not always be here to marvel at. Thank you.